Good morning. I'm Susan, and I'm here to teach class for this Comeback Yoga Level 2 class. And Level 2 means that we might move a little bit more quickly and we might hold poses a little bit more a little longer for strength purposes. And you can always choose what you want to do. If you want to follow along or make your own variation, you're always welcome to do that. I encourage you to take care of yourself, take care of your body, and just stay within your comfortable range of motion as much as possible. Comeback Yoga is a nonprofit, and it exists to offer free yoga classes to people who are veterans and people who help veterans, work with veterans, or support veterans. And we also are happy to have anyone who wants to join our YouTube classes or view our videos. We encourage you to join in and spread the word and help us continue our goals and our intentions to offer these yoga classes. So let's get started. You can come onto your mat and let's sit to start. Put your hands on the tops of your legs and roll your shoulders a couple times, up, back, and down. Tilt your right ear toward your right shoulder. Take your left arm out to the side, press your palm. Lift your head, arm over the head, and your arm just weights your head down with a little bit of gravity. Release your left arm. Keep your left ear toward your left shoulder. Press out your right hand. Lift up. Wrap your arm over your head and tilt the other way. Release your arm from your head. Take your arms across your chest. Hold your opposite shoulders and curl forward. Inhale to lift up your arms, upper half of an X, stretch up towards the ceiling. Turn your palms out, exhale, and press your palms out to the sides. Then turn your fingers down, scoop from underneath you, bring your hands out in front of you, and look at your right hand and your left hand. Let your pinky fingertips touch. And then connect each one of your fingertips, pinkies, ring fingers, middle fingers, index fingers, and thumbs. Bring your thumbs to approach your sternum. Sit a little bit taller, your elbows tuck in by your sides. Hold space between your palms and press all of your fingertips together. Inhale and exhale 5 times to match each one of the sets of your fingers. So start with your thumb, inhale, and exhale. And then for your index finger, inhale and exhale. Your inhales and your exhales might be a little faster or a little slower than mine, that's fine. For your middle finger, inhale and exhale. For your ring fingers, inhale and exhale. And then for your pinky fingers, inhale and exhale. Keep that kind of focus, that kind of attention, that kind of awareness of your breath throughout class. Let your breath be your guide as to how you're doing, how your body is responding. Turn your fingers forward, stretch your arms long, tuck your chin, and curl your spine. Inhale to lift your chest, spread across your chest, spread across your palms, lift your gaze. Exhale, bring your arms forward, round out your back, tuck your chin, and then draw your hands back towards the center line of your body, thumbs towards your sternum, fingers pointing up. Inhale to reach up and out. Press your palms. Take your left hand down. Your right side stretches up and over. Inhale to lift up. Wrap your right arm underneath your left. Hold your opposite hands or your opposite shoulders. Lean forward. Inhale to sit tall. Take your hands to your opposite elbows. Lift your forearms up toward your forehead. Stretch your arms up overhead. Bring your arms out to T. Press your palms. Your right hand comes down. Your left side stretches up and over. Inhale to lift. Wrap your left arm underneath your right. Hold your opposite hands or opposite shoulders and lean forward. Inhale to lift your torso. Uncross your legs and stick your legs out in front of you and wiggle out your knees. Roll through your feet, point and flex. And then scoot towards the top of your mat. Plant your feet down. Wrap your arms underneath your legs. Bring your torso toward your thighs. Inhale to lift up. Bring your arms forward and lean back into boat pose and walk your feet towards your hips and then float your feet off the floor. Just your heels are close down towards the floor at first. Stretch your legs long out in front of you. Hinge forward softly. Inhale to lift up. Put the fingers down. Roll down to the heels of your hands. Roll down to your elbows and lift your rib cage into fish pose. Stretch across your chest. Your gaze is where the wall and the ceiling meet. Soften up. Tuck your chin. Push yourself back up through seated. Cross your legs underneath you. Plant your hands down and walk your knees back. And hips move back towards the heels. Stretch out your sides. Inhale to lift up. Come down onto your belly. Straighten your legs. Hands on either side of your chest. Lift your torso a little. Float your hands a little. Back of the neck is long. Point your toes. Squeeze your glutes a little. Lift your chest a little. And soften down. Plant your hands, tuck your toes. Push yourself either onto your knees or onto your toes for plank. Breathe. And move your way into downward facing dog. You can walk your heels a little bit, bend one knee and the other knee, roll your head around. Spread out your fingers and walk your feet towards each other and take your left leg back behind you for three-legged dog. Stretch it long back behind you. Roll through your ankle, point and flex your foot. Then let your left foot come back down. Knees down. Tuck your tailbone and lift your tailbone. Move through cat and cow. Roll your head around. Untuck your toes. Let your hips move back toward your heels. Inhale to lift up. Walk yourself forward, coming down onto your belly. Lifting your chest, lifting your hands. Back of the neck is long, looking down the tip of your nose. Point your toes. Squeeze your glutes a little. Lift your chest a little bit more. Breathe. Hands back down. Tuck your toes. Push yourself into plank, either on your knees or on your toes. And hips move up and back into downward facing dog. Once again, pedal out your feet. Roll your head around. And take your right leg back into three-legged dog. Point and flex your foot. Wiggle your toes. Roll your ankle. And both feet down. Both knees down. Untuck your toes. Hips move back toward the heels. Rock a little bit side to side. Keep your left arm out in front of you and take your right arm and wrap your right arm around behind your body. Let your torso come a little closer down towards your thighs and turn your gaze past your right shoulder. Release your right arm out in front of you and take your left arm and wrap your left arm around behind your body. Let your gaze turn over towards the left. Unwrap your left arm. Take your hands by your knees. Lift your torso up. Come up to seated. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Exhale, slide your hands up towards the top of the mat. Take your left foot forward. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your back knee and bend and straighten a couple times. Go forward and back. And walk your back foot forward a little bit more. Plant your heel down. Lift your torso into warrior one. Inhale to sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale, open twist. Your left arm is forward, your right arm is back. Bring your gaze past your right thumb. Right hand comes back across over towards the left hand. Touch your hands together. Find that position of your hands where all your fingertips touch, palms apart. Inhale to lift your arms up towards the ceiling and bring your gaze up there towards your hands. Both hands down towards the mat. Step yourself back into one-legged plank. Your left leg floats back behind you. Pause there for a moment. And then both feet down, both knees down. Hips move back. Stretch out your low back. Rock from side to side. Inhale to lift up. Slide forward onto your stomach. Lengthen your legs. Squeeze your glutes a little. Lift your chest. Float your hands. Lengthen the back of your neck. Breathe for Cobra Pose. Hands down. Tuck your toes under. Push yourself up into any plank on your knees, on your forearms, on your fists, on your hands and your toes. And hips move up and back into downward facing dog. Roll your head around, pedal out your feet. And your right leg steps forward in between your hands. And bend and straighten a couple times. So move forward and back any amount. You could step that back foot forward a little bit closer or further behind. Continually refining your positions. How's your breath doing? Step your back foot forward, plant your back heel down, press down into the front foot and lift your torso. Connect all of your fingertips together and lift your arms overhead. Stretch, lift, and lengthen. Exhale, your right arm comes forward, your left arm is back. Bring your gaze to your back thumb. And left hand meets right hand out in front. Sweep your arms down and out and up and overhead. Exhale, hands down towards the floor. Step back to one-legged plank. Your front leg becomes back leg and lifts and lengthens. Both feet down, knees down, hips move back toward the heels. Stretch out your low back, rock from side to side. Then lift your torso, tuck your toes under, bring your hands back by your knees, and pop your knees off the floor, coming into squat. Elbows on the insides of the knees, hands together. Maybe make that same connection with all of your fingertips, space between your palms. Hands come down towards the floor and come into forward fold. So you can straighten your legs towards the back of your mat. You can have your fingers anywhere, maybe fingers on the mat or maybe hands on the fronts of your legs. One's not better than the other. It's just one's better for you right now. You're finding which position seems best for you. You can tell by your breath. Keep that steady, firm pace of your breath. Sit back into your heels, bend your knees a little, move your shin bones back, and sweep your arms forward and up into chair pose. Stay here for a moment. Breathe, inhale and exhale. And then stand tall. Reach up overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Hang forward and forward fold. Roll your head around. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, let yourself melt down to the floor. Knees onto the floor. Hands plant at the top of the mat and lean into upward facing dog. Tuck your toes, pull back into downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet, roll your head. Take a couple of breaths here. Left leg stretches back, three-legged dog. Bend your knee open and stack. Left hip over right. Look underneath your left arm. Square your hips, curl your left knee underneath you. Step your left foot forward in between your hands. Back heel comes down, cartwheel up and out into warrior two. Turn your palms up towards the ceiling. And bend your elbows. Bring your forearms out in front of your chest. Touch your thumbs and your ring fingers together and rotate your palms forward. Then bring your elbows back out to the sides. Release your finger connection. Roll your wrists. Extend your arms out to T. Once again, palms facing up. Cartwheel down. Hands to the floor. Left leg slides back into one-legged plank. And all the way back into three-legged dog. Left knee curls underneath for one knee curled under plank. And extend both legs, both knees down. Rest in child's pose for a moment. Rock from side to side. Notice the rate, the rhythm, the sensation, the texture of your breath. Inhale to lift up. Slide forward. Hands at the top of the mat. Lean into upward facing dog. Tuck your toes. Hips move up and back into downward facing dog. Refine your position. Spread your fingers out a little bit. Pedal your feet. And take your right leg back into three-legged dog. Bend your right knee open and stack. Right hip over left. Square your hips. Curl your right knee underneath you. Step your right foot forward in between your hands. Back heel comes down. And lift yourself into warrior two. Palms facing up. Refine your position. Lean forward and back. And square your shoulders right over your hips. Try to pull the mat apart a little bit with your feet. Notice the length of your spine. Then bend your elbows, bring your forearms in front of you, in front of your chest. Touch your thumbs and your ring fingers together. Turn your palms forward. Then bring your arms out to cactus one more time. Release your finger connection. Roll through your wrist. Extend your arms out to T. Exhale, hands down to the floor. Bring your right leg back into one-legged plank. And then lift up and back into three-legged dog. Curl your right knee underneath you for one knee curled under plank. Your shoulders square over your wrists. And both feet down, both knees down. Take a rest. Rock from side to side. Look forward towards the top of the mat. And bring your hands back by your knees. Push yourself up through your seated. Put your hands on the tops of your knees. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. And lift yourself into kneeling. Put your hands on your upper glutes. Lift your rib cage and lean back. Support of your upper glutes, hands on the upper glutes, helps keep your tailbone slightly tucked. Your hips stay right over your knees, just tilting your rib cage a little. Inhale to come to neutral, arms hang down by your sides. Bring your gaze down towards the top of the mat. Take your hands forward and your hips back. Stretch out your sides and your shoulders. Inhale to lift up, step your right foot forward. Your right arm comes forward, your left arm sweeps up and back, and tilt your left hand down and your right arm up. And you can look at your left hand reaching for your left heel and your right hand reaching up towards the ceiling. Cartwheel your arms back down. Take your right leg back into bird dog. Stretch it long back behind you. Roll through your ankle. Point and flex your foot. And you can take your left arm forward for extra balance challenge. Both hands down, both knees down. Hips move back towards the heels. Rock from side to side. Lift up into kneeling. Put your fists on your upper glutes. Press down a little bit to help your tailbone stay slightly tucked under. Squeeze your glutes a little. Lift your rib cage and angle back. So you're angling your sternum towards where the wall and the ceiling meet. Your head just goes along, is an extension of your spine. Spread across your chest. Move your shoulder blades towards each other. Inhale to lift up. Exhale. Hands back down towards the mat and step your left foot forward. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, your left arm is up and your right hand reaches down towards your right heel. You can look up towards your left fingers, reaching up towards the ceiling, and you look down towards your right thumb, reaching for your right heel. Inhale to sweep both arms overhead. Exhale, hands down, and take your left leg back into bird dog. And your right arm might come forward. Counterbalance. Both hands down, both knees down. Hips drag back, moving from side to side, perhaps finding a new place to stretch. Inhale to slide yourself up towards the top of the mat, lean into upward facing dog. Tuck your toes, float your knees into plank, then hinge at your hips into downward facing dog. Make a triangle with your body. Hips, hands, and feet are the 3 points of your triangle. Walk your feet towards each other. Bend your knees a lot, and then walk, step, or hop forward. Top of the mat, inhale to half lift, exhale to chair pose. Sweep your arms back behind you. Inhale, stand tall, reach up. Let's do a side stretch. Just pick a side and stretch over to one side. Inhale to come back through center and pick the other side. Stretch. Inhale to come back through center. Exhale, sit down in chair pose with your arms back behind you. Stand tall, reach up. Exhale, swan dive, forward, long spine, bent knees. Head hangs down. Stay here in forward fold. And shift the weight into your right foot. Step your left foot back, left heel down. Cartwheel up and out into warrior two once again. This time straightening your front leg, tilting your hips back, coming into triangle. Your right arm is down and your left arm is up. So I'll give you a little time here to refine this position. You're lengthening, you're stretching, your sides are long. Your legs are long. Your breath is steady. Inhale to lift, back up into warrior two. Exhale, take your front hand, your front arm underneath your back arm. Wrap your hands around each other or hold your opposite shoulders, either way. Bend into your front knee once again and tilt back. Reverse warrior with eagle arms. Inhale to lift, unwrap your arms. Cartwheel down, hands to the floor. One-legged plank. Right leg floats. Right leg comes up and back into three-legged dog. Curl the right knee underneath in one knee curled under plank. And extend into plank. Move back into downward facing dog. Lift and lower your heels in downward facing dog. Breathe. Take your left foot forward in between your hands. Back heel comes down. Lift up into warrior two. Look forward and back. Try turning your palms down this time, connecting all of your fingertips together. Your thumb comes in and connects. Make a flat paddle with your hands. Then release your paddle. Turn your palms up towards the ceiling. Make a little cup in the center of your palms. And straighten your front leg, coming into triangle on this side. Your arms tick-tock to 12 and 6. Your torso is long. Your breath is steady. Your gaze can be anywhere. It might be up towards your top thumb or down towards your bottom foot. Inhale to lift. And take your left arm underneath your right. Wrap your arms around each other. And bend into your front knee and tilt back. Reverse warrior with eagle arms. Inhale to lift your torso. Unwrap your arms. Cartwheel down. Step back into one-legged plank. Lift all the way up and back into three-legged dog. Curl your left knee underneath you for one knee curled under plank. And both feet down and hips move up and back And you're hinging in downward facing dog once again. Find the length of your spine. Notice the lengths of your inhales and your exhales. Lift and lower your heels. Look forward towards the top of the mat and step or hop or walk forward. Coming into forward fold. Place your hands on the fronts of your legs and come into half forward fold. Your torso is parallel to the floor. Then sink back into chair pose, sweeping the arms overhead. Exhale, your arms sweep behind. Inhale, bring your hands together in front of your chest and sit down a little bit more. Let's take a twist in chair. Right hand, right elbow comes across over towards the left knee. Turn and look past your left shoulder. Inhale to stand tall, hands planted together. Exhale, bring your hands down through the center line of your body. Point your fingers down, follow your arms down. Step your left leg back behind you. Left heel down, lift up into warrior one. Bend into your front knee, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, keep your front knee bent and sweep your arms back behind you. Your torso comes on the inside of your front leg. Inhale, sweep yourself back up into warrior one. Then bring your hands together in front of your chest, step together, top of the mat. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to swan dive forward. Plant your hands, step or hop, back to plank. Coming into either cobra or downward facing dog. So cobra is all the way on your belly with your legs straight and your hands floating. And upward facing dog is straight arms and your knees, sometimes just your toes on the floor. Pull yourself into plank position. Hips move up and back, downward facing dog. Make the triangle with your body. Give yourself a breath or two. Look forward between your thumbs, step, walk, or hop forward, top of the mat. Inhale to half lift, your torso comes parallel to the floor. Exhale to sink into chair pose, arms outstretched. Bring your hands together in front of your chest. And this time, sit down a little more, take your left elbow across over toward your right knee and turn and look past your right shoulder. Inhale to stand tall, reach up. Exhale, hinge forward, your hands come down towards the mat. Shift the weight onto your left foot, your right foot steps back. Inhale to sweep yourself into warrior one, arms overhead. Exhale, bring your torso on the inside of your front thigh. Your arms can stretch up towards the ceiling if you like. Inhale to sweep up and overhead. Exhale, hands down. Slide back into one-legged plank, left leg floats. Left leg comes up and back into three-legged dog. Curl your left knee underneath you. One knee curled under plank. Extend into regular plank. Move your hips up and back. Make the triangle with your body in downward facing dog. Lift and lower your heels. Roll your head around. And slowly start to bend your knees until your knees float above the mat a couple of inches. Breathe here. And release your knees down. Cross your legs underneath you and come into boat pose towards the back of your mat. You can hold on to the backs of your legs or reach your arms forward. You could straighten your legs. Cross your legs underneath you. Come onto your forearms. Interlace your fingers. Tuck your toes and lengthen your legs into dolphin. So your head floats above the floor. Your forearms are your foundation, your interlaced fingers. Your legs are as straight or as bent as they want to be. You're focusing on lengthening your spine. Release your head a little bit. Slowly let your knees come back down. Untuck the toes. Take a little rest with your arms outstretched Walk your fingers a little bit forward on the mat, rock from side to side. And take your hands back towards your knees, lift your torso, roll your head around on the top of your neck. Inhale to lift into camel, sliding your hands to your upper glutes. This time, if you wanted to, you could tuck your toes under. It's a little bit different sensation. Tuck your toes under to lift your rib cage and roll open. Your sternum is pointing where the wall and the ceiling meet. Your tailbone slightly tucked. Your legs are active. Your neck is long. Inhale to come to neutral. Exhale, hands down. Slide into upward facing dog. Cross your legs underneath you. Come to seated at the back of your mat with your legs out in front of you. Roll through your feet, point and flex. Reach down and pick up your right leg with your hands and bring it back and rock your right leg in your arms, left and right. Extend your right leg on top of your left leg and take your right hand and reach your right hand down towards your left foot. It's just a direction. You don't have to actually touch it. Lift yourself up, lean back, plant your right foot down, and lift into reverse plank with one leg. Lift, stretch, breathe. Press out through your left heel. Hips down, straighten your legs, roll through your feet. Press down into your heels, pop up your knees, wrap your arms around your legs, squish your torso toward your thighs. Inhale to lift up, take your left leg in toward your chest and rock it. Draw circles with your knees, both directions, with your left knee. And take your left leg down on top of your right leg and reach your right hand and touch down, left hand towards your right foot. Either way. Nice job. Inhale to lift up, plant your left foot down, your arms back behind you, lift your rib cage and come into reverse plank on this side. One leg down, other leg extended. Press out through your extended leg's heel. Bring your toes toward your shins. Your head's in line with the rest of your spine. Hips come down. Nice job. Cross your legs. Take your arms across your chest. Give yourself an enormous cross. Walk your fingers a little closer towards each other on your back. And slide your hands to your opposite forearms. Lift your forearms up toward your forehead or overhead. Exhale and release your arms back down by your sides. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. And then uncross your legs. Stretch your legs out in front of you. Reach forward toward your toes. And then slide your hands up the fronts of your legs, tops of your knees, tops of your quads, and start to lower yourself all the way down onto your back. Once you get onto your back, stretch yourself along, reach your arms overhead, press out through your heels. Get another inch in length in your neck, maybe wiggle your neck a little longer, your low back a little longer, stretch your legs a little longer, fingers a little longer. And let your arms come down by your sides, gather up your legs with your arms, pull your knees into your chest. Lift your heels, roll yourself up to boat pose. And let's try crossing boat. So cross your right ankle over your left, hook your feet, and take both arms over towards the left. Sit a little bit taller, breathe. If you want a little bit different variation, you could interlace your fingers. You could interlace your fingers and flatten your palms. You could try touching your right elbow towards your left knee. Untwist, uncross, straighten your legs out in front of you, and hinge forward. Inhale to lift up. Let's try full, both legs, reverse plank. You can start with fish, planting down into your arms and lifting your rib cage and pressing out through your heels. And you can lift your hips, coming into reverse plank. Your head's in line with the rest of your spine. Remember, you've got that variation with one foot on the floor too, which is a really nice variation. And hips down, and stretch your legs out in front of you, and lean forward any amount. Inhale to lift up, plant your feet down, walk your feet back towards you, and lean back into boat pose. Float your feet, cross, right ankle over left. And then we're taking both arms and reaching both arms over. You can interlace your fingers. You can hold on in a fist. You can let your left elbow come a little closer over towards your right knee. Turn, sit tall, breathe. Nice job. Untwist, uncross. Soles of the feet together, knees swing out to the sides, and hinge forward over your legs. Inhale to sit tall. Cross your legs underneath you. Plant your hands, tuck your toes, and stretch yourself into downward facing dog. Lift and lower your heels a couple times. And take your left leg back behind you. Three-legged dog. Bend your knee, open and stack. Left hip over right. Square your hips. Curl your left knee underneath you. Step it forward. Back heel comes down. Lift up into warrior two. Straighten into triangle. Left arm down, right arm up. Lift up into straight legs. Wrap your right arm underneath your left. Hold your opposite shoulders or your opposite hands. Back heel dials up. Bend the back knee and sink down a little. Then step forward into eagle pose. Crossing your right leg over your left, sitting down, a little or a lot. Nice job. Unwrap your crossed leg, step it all the way back into warrior one with eagle arms. Lift your torso, lift your arms. Unwrap your arms, hands down. Come back into one-legged plank, into three-legged dog. Curl the left knee underneath, one knee curled under plank. And both feet in plank. And knees down, take a little rest. Rock from side to side. Inhale to lift up and lean forward in upward facing dog. And lift your knees and hinge back into downward facing dog. Right leg comes back, bend the right knee, open and stack. Right hip over left. Square your hips, curl your right knee underneath you, step it forward in between your hands. Back heel comes down, lift up into warrior two. And come into triangle, tilting forward. Inhale to lift to straight legs, straight torso, left arm comes underneath right. Wrap your arms around each other or hold your opposite shoulders. Back heel dies up, bend your back knee. And we're stepping forward into eagle. So you can take as many steps as you want to, cross, left leg over right, and sit down. Inhale to lift, stand tall, your left leg unwraps and steps back behind you. Lift your torso, lift your gaze. Unwrap your arms, hands down. Right leg comes back into one-legged plank and lifts up and back into three-legged dog. Right leg curls underneath for one knee curled under plank. Extend back into regular plank. And tuck your legs underneath you and curl up into a ball or an approximation of this. You might feel more comfortable with your knees apart. You might feel more comfortable sitting up. Do a resting position that feels as easeful as possible, a place where you can notice your breath. Start to roll yourself back up to seated. Put your fists on your upper glutes. Lift yourself up into kneeling. Lift your chest, roll your chest open, lift your gaze. Your sternum is angling to where the wall and the ceiling meet. Squeeze your glutes a little, active legs. This time you could tuck your toes under and then take one hand back, just reach for your heels. You're not trying to touch your heels, just reach. And then take the other arm overhead. Get a big cross your body, left side to right side. And lift up, find neutral in your spine. Hips move back towards the heels. Good stretching pose. And we'll switch sides. Come up kneeling once again. Your left arm is up and your right hand reaches back towards your heels. Squeeze your glutes a little, lift your rib cage and angle your sternum to where the wall and the ceiling meet. Stretch and lengthen and breathe. Inhale, come back to neutral, hands together in front of your chest. Hips sit back onto the heels, foot stretching pose. Hands down onto the mat. Roll through cat and cow a couple times and walk yourself back towards the center of your mat. Tuck under and lift. Roll through your spine. Move your hips left and right. Now we're taking the right leg out to the side. Put your heel down and your toes down. And lift yourself up into kneeling. Take your right hand down towards your right foot. Your left arm reaches up and over. Inhale to lift up and take your left hand down towards the floor. Your right arm can reach up. And if you want to, your extended leg can lift in quarter moon. Nice job. Right leg down. Walk your hands around. Bring your right leg in. Move through cat and cow once again. Slide your hands forward into upward facing dog. And lift your knees and straighten your legs into downward facing dog. Lift and lower your heels. Pedal your feet. Roll your head. And both knees down. Your left leg comes out to the side. Heel down, toes down. Lift your torso up to kneel. Your left hand comes down the outside of your left leg. Your right arm reaches up and over. Inhale to lift up. Your right hand comes down to the mat and your left arm reaches up. If you want to, your left leg can come to the 90-degree angle between your two long leg bones. Nice job. Left leg down, hands out in front, left knee in, and move through cat and cow one more time, tucking under and lifting the tailbone. Move through your head. Cross your legs underneath you. Come to sit in the middle of your mat with your legs outstretched. Slide your hands down towards the tops of your feet. Let your torso come over your legs. Inhale to lift up. And slide yourself back onto your back any way you want to. Roll on your back. Bring your knees into your chest. Draw circles. Take your feet down onto the mat. Make sure you have plenty of space around you. And take your right knee in toward your chest. Take your left leg along the long edge of the mat, and roll your right knee across your body over towards the left. Now, how far you go is totally up to you. Your knee might be all the way on the mat, and your right shoulder might be all the way on the mat. Or you might have your right arm crossing across the midline of your body. So you can increase or decrease the amount of twist that you're getting in this position. You can also intensify the position by really stretching out through your foundation leg, the leg that's not crossing, and by bringing your arms out to T and rotating your head past your right shoulder. So you've got different positions you might try. You've got different intensities you might explore, and find the place where it seems most appropriate for you to be. And your breath is always your guide. Your breath is steady and smooth. You're breathing and breathing. Great work. Roll back onto your back. Lengthen your spine. Realign it all in one line. Arms long down by your sides. Squeeze your glutes a little and lift your hips into bridge pose. Your chin is slightly lifted. Your hips are moving actually away from your rib cage a little bit, lifting and lengthening, and your knees stay square over your ankles. I have my palms up, so you could try that version, or you can have your palms down. Sometimes people really like that. You can see which one you like best. Either way, you're lengthening, lifting your chin a little, lengthening your spine, breathing, tuck your tailbone, start to roll yourself back onto your back, and bring both knees into your chest and draw little circles with your knees. Keep your left knee in, take your right leg long, take your left knee, cross your body over towards the right side of the mat this time. And all the things that you did on the other side, you have a new perspective. So now you're looking at from the other side of your body. So you're making all the same decisions with different data. So how does it feel? Maybe your knee wants to come all the way to the floor, or your knee wants to come away from the floor. Maybe your arms are outstretched, or maybe your arms across your body. If you're finding the right place for you. Oh, this is an interesting thing to put your left hand on your left hip and your right hand on around your right knee. And you can roll your head to look past your left shoulder if you like. Encourage stretch, encourage breathing. And notice your breath, just like you have been all throughout class. Noticing your breath. Rolling back onto your back. Resetting your spine, lengthening from the crown of your head down toward your tailbone. You can put your hands on the tops of your legs and lengthen your spine a little more. Then gather up your legs with your arms, pull your knees in toward your chest. Turn the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling, and you can stay here. This is the happy baby pose, or you can have your feet on the mat and be rocking your knees left and right. You might do something totally different, some kind of stretching out position that gives you a little bit more support, a little bit more ease through movement in your body. And straighten your legs, straighten your arms, come down onto the mat and let yourself do nothing for a little bit. Now you might be looking up towards the ceiling, you might have your eyes closed, you might be regarding like an interesting spot on the wall in front of you. Whatever you're doing, acknowledge and notice and keep paying attention to the things in your body, the things in your breath. All the stuff that we did before is done, and the stuff you're going to do has not started yet. We're still in it. We're still here. Just notice this space that you've created for yourself, where you have absolutely nothing to do. If your mind starts to wander, just keep your mind focused on your breath. Not as work, but just as a casual observer, just watching. And we'll take 5 breaths here. As you take your 5 breaths, notice each one of your fingertips on each hand. So 5 is pinky fingers, left and right. Inhale and exhale. And 4 is ring fingers, left and right. Inhale and exhale. And 3 is middle fingers, left and right. Inhale and exhale. And 2 is index fingers, left and right. Inhale and exhale. And 1 is thumbs, left and right. Inhale and exhale. Invite your breath to be as steady and full as it ever is. Encourage your breath to be deep and gentle. And slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, to roll your wrists and your ankles, to stretch your arms and your legs. You can yawn or swallow, move around however you want to. If you're lying down, you can roll over onto one side. Pause there for a moment. And then gradually bring yourself back up seated. Sitting however you want. Hands on the tops of your legs with your palms facing up. So acknowledge the time that you take to take care of yourself and the time that you take to practice. And notice if there's anything that you want to keep with you throughout the day and keep thinking about or working with or just have. If there is something, just tuck that away for future reference. And if there isn't anything, that's fine. It doesn't have to be anything. Acknowledging the uniqueness of your own personal practice. Take a big soft inhale breath through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And one more, inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Namaste. Thanks so much for practicing with me today. I appreciate it so much. So nice to see all of you. If you have any questions, concerns, issues, you can come back and ask again later in a chat in any one of our classes. We offer classes every day. So every day at 8 Mountain Time, a.m. and Monday through Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. and some noons too on our YouTube channel. So if you want to learn more about Comeback Yoga, please go to our website, comebackyoga.org. I'm Susan. I'm so happy to have been leading you in practice today. Please come back and see us and have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.